Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome to our podcast. Today I'll have Peter start the introduction.
Yeah, so honestly, pretty organic topic, I guess, today. Me and Karar were literally walking over from my house to the room to record this, and we were just having a conversation, and then as we got in and started setting up, we were still having the conversation, so we were like, we should just be recording this before we continue on, because it was an interesting conversation.
And we didn't have any topic decided on.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we were going to talk about.
So basically, I guess the general topic to start is kind of like how have we sought meaning in our life, or what is our meaning in life, and
how we viewed it in our childhood too.
Yeah, because I think as we were talking, it's like there was a lot of similarity, I think, or a lot of relatability in terms of I guess one of the main ways we thought about our lives or the future, like what we wanted to do with our lives. So do you want to share a little bit what you're telling me about that?
For me, since I was a child, I was like, in general about my whole life, instead of just, like I'm in med right now, like hoping to become a doctor, but at the same time, that's like not the end goal for my whole life, right? I think that's also important as a distinction. It's like you can have that as a goal, but that's not like the meaning of your whole life. But as a kid, I always viewed like becoming like in history books, right? Being, even after I die, I'm still remembered. And one idea of that is like, how Einstein is equated with genius and how smart he is, and then how Hitler is equated with evilness. And, those two are like the models of the concept. It's like, since I was a kid, I was like, I want to be that. I think it's pretty funny, but, and very ambitious, but I think one time when I was younger, I heard the quote by Newton where he's like, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, right? And I was like, I don't want to stand on the shoulders of giants. I want to be the giant, which is childish, but it's something that really, it's like my motto in life is just, I don't want to be just someone that relies on others. I want others to rely on me. But it's not like the end goal, like as we discussed too. Like if I can, if I die for a greater cause, right, I would do it in an instant, right? If my death becomes meaningful, then I would do it in an instant.
But yeah, so you were saying like, I guess what is the driving force behind your ambition, or like what are you seeking? Because you said you said that's maybe a goal, but not like the end all be all. But like, I guess what is driving you? Like, what is the thing? Because I feel like most of what we do or want, there's like some kind of ultimate or like deeply rooted desire or something that drives us.
I think it's a couple things. I can't really pinpoint one thing. Because it like confuses me if I pinpoint it to one thing. It's like, but this thing too, and it's like there's so much factors to the decision that it's just very complex. And it's like thinking of one thing is really hard. But I guess first of all, my childhood, because as a family we weren't the most financially stable and everything. So seeing my parents try so hard, I always wanted to be rich, and being rich equated in my mind to being famous and being known, and I think that like was a very rooted idea, but I never saw it that way. I never saw being rich as a goal in my life. It was more like it's gonna happen. It's not like a goal.
A side effect.
Yeah, it's just a side effect that's gonna happen. But and then I also have like my religion, right? If I become famous, I'll a lot of people take the views of someone who's famous, even if he's not related to that field, right? It can portray what my religion stands for. Once I reach that point, right? Once everyone knows me, they would know what my religion really stands for, instead of having bad models to put that view on my religion. And there's also other like really silly childish views of it too. And my biggest fear in life is just being forgotten, right? So it's like there's so many things that just could point through that, but in general, I never wanted to live a meaningless life. I can't. I just can't live meaningless life. It's like I've heard a lot of people, young people in my college, and that work, coworkers and stuff. Most of them are like, I just want to live a meaningless life. They literally would tell me that they just want to live a meaningless life. They don't want to work for anything, which really like it pisses me off. It's like I just don't understand how such a thing could happen, right? I think it's like killing someone's ambitions. Mm-hmm. But that's just how I see it.
Well, and I would suspect that most people would say, like, I think most people want to have a meaningful life. They may just define meaning differently. Like, I think a lot of people are like, I don't, like, maybe the meaning that they're pursuing is just to kind of enjoy, like, basically just
pleasure is their,
or something like
that's
that.
The meaning of their life.
Which, so I think it is a universal human thing that, like, we all want to have a meaningful, like, we all want to find value in our, like, identity, or, like, validate our existence. But yeah, I think there is definitely, like, I feel like a lot of the concept of the American dream is, like, it puts the center of the meaning in, I guess, your comfort, and so, like, a lot of people, it's like their goal would be to get the job that can most quickly get them to some kind of
comfort,
ideal vision of, like, having a very comfortable life, where they can kind of pursue their hobbies or enjoy some luxuries or something like that.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I relate a lot to, like, what you said about when I was a kid. Like, I felt like I always had an idea in my mind of, like, I would rather die young, or, like, give myself. It was very, like, idealized, romanticized idea of, like, self-sacrifice. But, like, I always wanted to just, like, give my life all out for something and, like, die young, rather than, like, I was kind of horrified by the idea of just basically having, like, a successful, in some sense, but, like, average life. Like, I wanted to live a very exceptional, radical life that would maybe come at the cost of, like, comfort or luxury, but, like, I would be this, like, extremely impactful person.
Right.
And yeah, so I guess, well, maybe we should talk about, like, how that's, because you mentioned something of, like, how has that childhood idea kind of gone into your
my daily life and adulthood. I think one thing is, a lot of people when they're young, they just slowly grow out of your childish dreams, mostly because of the economy right now. You realize that your childish dreams are just very childish. They're just not possible in many ways, right? But I think I just, instead of forgetting them, however much hardships I go through, like getting bad grades, right? I'm not doing the best in college, right? But the grades don't ever affect me. The fact that my views are still childish in a way, I think it makes me tougher, and, like, reality doesn't hurt me that much, right? The reality of the situation that I'm in doesn't really hurt me that much. But I'm not, like, out of touch with reality. It's not like I don't know, this bad grade is bad. No, I do know it's bad. It's just not going to put me down and, like, give up. Because that's what I see a lot of people doing. Once they see that they're failing something consistently, they're like, I'm just not made for it, right? But as a child, like, if you remember when we were in the playground or something, we don't usually give up. Children don't give up. They never give up. They're, like, the most persistent brats you've ever going to see. And they're so annoying. And I think that's, like, my personality at this point. Yeah, I'm just optimistic, like, to a fault. Like, I know for sure that's going to happen. Like,
but you believe it's a fault?
Yeah, I do. It is to a fault. It's definitely to a fault. It's not, like, a great thing, but I definitely, I think, to me, I would rather have that as my fault of not losing hope at all, than being very, like, just losing hope at the smallest inconvenience, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the kind of thing where there can be two extremes, where it's like the kind of thing, like, something you're talking about of like not almost being in the real world, where it's like I think we have to have a category for like my life may not work out the way I want to, like not, like there's a kind of like Disney idea, our culture is like, you know, believe in yourself and all your dreams will come true, everything will work out, and then but like not everything always works out, like your dreams, like your life can come crashing down. We live a very fragile life, which is not to say that to go the other extreme, embrace a cynicism of just like, well, I won't just try, and I'll just basically try to just give me whatever makes me feel good now.
Exactly.
But it's like we have to. I think you have to both
have a balanced view of it. I think like the thing is for me, like I know myself well enough that. It's just because, you know, I told you, like, it's very complex of the reasons that I think that way, right? That even if I don't know, like, get canceled so badly, like, I can't go outside and I'll be shot, right? It could be, like, that bad, right? And I still won't lose hope. I will literally be like, okay, cool. And I'll still do whatever I want to do. It doesn't really affect me, right? Yeah, I just have a hard time actually having something that affects me, right? External. The only thing that affects me is internally. Like, something internal, like I convince myself with something, right? Then I can't just forget it. And I think, like, that's the issue, like, with my extreme. It's mostly because you stop all external factors from hurting you, and so it becomes an internal battle instead. While on the other hand, people are so, like, internally, like, they don't look internally enough that anything external can affect them really easily.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, I would rather fight myself than fight everything that I can control. Because I can control myself, right? I can control my thought patterns and stuff. But I can't have control over the world, right? I can't control the external factors that are coming at me, right? So, like, I get a bad grade, right? I don't say, oh, I got a bad grade, I'm not going to change anything. No, I change myself, right?
Like, the external factors matter.
They matter, but they won't affect how I see myself or, you know, the end goal, right? And that's pretty much like my view of how and if like everything comes crashing down, I'll just find a new way to find like a new meaning to life. I just always have a new meaning to life, to be honest.
Yeah, and I guess I gotta say for me, because I think we're wired in a similar way in terms of like that kind of way of thinking, like very dramatically or like radical, like romanticized, however you want to say it, of like, no, I want to like have this like a very, very meaningful, and I don't want to give that up for anything. I think the thing that part of how I arrived where I'm at, or how I think about it now, is like I think there was a moment where I started to like question, like, okay, what if I do get all these things? Like, what if I accomplish whatever this thing is, which it can have various manifestations, ideas of how you could do that. But like, what if I, you know, do something so impactful? And it's like, if it's the getting some kind of, I don't know, being some historical figure, or getting a fame, or like whatever, being very impactful, being very extraordinary. It's like, I think I felt and I feel that when I try to put my meaning in life in anything like that, that's still ultimately attached to like the significance of my life in and of itself, and making myself significant. It still felt like I felt like it was missing still, because it was still not attached to any kind of ultimate meaning or ultimate reality. It's like its meaning was maybe attached beyond my life span, because it was attached to like maybe significance within like human civilization. But still, like, ultimately, it's like what is other? Like, it still felt like kind of a made up meaning that's not. It has nothing eternal or substantial. And I think I came to terms with that, or found my meaning in the, I guess, in Jesus' words, like in finding what I believe Jesus is saying when he, like, there's a verse where he says, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it will remain alone. But if it falls into the earth and dies, it will bear fruit. And there's many different places in the Bible where it talks about that idea of like finding life through death. So like Jesus also says, whoever loves his life will lose it, but whoever hates his life for my sake will gain it. Or he says too, like whoever would gain the world, like you could gain the world but lose your soul, or you could forfeit the world to gain your soul. So that idea of like self-denial and dying to yourself, but not as the ultimate, that's not its ultimate end, because then it's not just like self-denial as some show of like, I don't know, that could just be another radical thing you're trying to accomplish, but it's the idea that through death to yourself,
you're working for a bigger cause, and in a way.
Well, it's through death to yourself, having life in Jesus. There's another verse where it basically says, I've been crucified, and I'd say this is like my new meaning in life summed up, like, I've been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. So it's like my aim in life to find that meaning in whatever ambition it was, even if the ambition wasn't material gain, like just like dying young and giving myself for some cause, even that was like still centered in myself and ultimately felt meaningless. And I felt like despair in that. But the idea that I die to myself and live to Christ. So there's a quote from some old dead Christian guy that I do not remember his name, but it's basically part of a poem, and it's like the chorus of the poem is always, it's like a verse, and then it always comes back to the chorus. No, that's not. I'm trying to remember it.
Didn't you just say it?
Yeah.
How did you forget it so fast?
I was about to say it, the verse, I've been crucified with Christ. No, this is the poem. It's, only one life 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. And so that's the idea, I guess, now, is that I still can give my life fully for something. And but it's not, the meaning isn't rooted in me or my ambition. It's that I've died. Now I live to Christ. I live for his cause, for his sake, for his glory, for the glory of God. And so that, I feel like, is how I've reconciled the like desire to not just settle for just the American dream of like getting a house, going and getting a retirement with a lake house and a pontoon boat, and then dying and passing down the wealth down to my kids, and that's the entire purpose of my life. But it's like,
if you remember in I don't know which episode this was, but in a previous episode where we were like, we live on the path of God, so we try to follow, like in being good, right? We try to follow the goodness of God, right? Whatever he portrays, whatever God's attributes are, we try our best to align with them the best we can, right? We discussed that, right? And you agree with that, obviously, right?
I mean, I agree with some of the concept. I feel like it's not how I would like define, I guess, the Christian life, or what the main point of the Christian
I'm
life
just
is.
saying, like not in the meaning of life. Like this is just. I was just saying, if you remember.
I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, like goodness, like us being good, just means we should follow the path of God. That's what I mean, right? Okay. Us being good just means you do what God would do in the situation, technically, right? Or what Jesus would
like
do.
God,
right, exactly.
Like Christ. Yeah.
Exactly. So, do you think God is impactful?
I mean, yes, obviously.
Then I would say, like, like us humans being impactful is just like there's some like a lot of stuff in the world, right? We've talked about salvation. We've talked a lot of the bad of the world, right? God needs God doesn't need, but God uses the hands in the world, and we humans can be those hands that help God in the world, right? By contributing to his cause, right? And that's, I think, what pretty much is like probably one of the biggest like meanings in my life is like I want to become the hand of God, if that makes sense. not in a literal sense.
No, yeah.
Don't come attacking me.
I get it.
No,
Yeah,
thank
we
you for
say-
the
oh,
listeners. Yeah, don't come attacking me. Just not literal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want like in life, right? What I do is not me doing that thing, right? It's God telling me to do that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also what we mentioned before
Mm-hmm.
starting the episode, where it's like at that point you are non-existence as a self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just a part of a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's also what connects like to self-love, right? The concept of self-love as it is today, right, in society. And it's like, tell us your opinion first of all, like self-love.
Okay. Also, my mind just went to another tangent that I want to go to because I think there's
I'm
something
going to the
really
same.
there's something very relevant to this I want to talk about
Wait,
from
go ahead.
a book
Go
by
ahead.
of Soren Kierkegaard.
Go ahead.
Well, I can talk about the self.
No, it's fine.
Okay,
It doesn't matter.
okay. So on the topic of when you're talking about like finding your I guess place in existence or in your being, and I'm probably butchering this from like actual like academic philosopher standpoint,
Right.
but like my layman's understanding of Sickness Unto Death by Soren Kierkegaard, he talks about how like a being, like what your existence is kind of composed of these like opposites, sort of. Like for example, I don't remember the whole like list of them, but like for example, you have a finite existence in the world. You are stuck in a specific place in time with a specific body. You are limited to and tethered to a space.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have the mind, the imagination, which it can go much beyond where you are. It's kind of infinite in that extent. Of like you can just think about anything, or like, so there's this kind of like the fantasy world or the imagination or this non-finite kind of like infinite thing that you're connected to. That's part of your being, and the finite. And I can't remember all of the other ones right now off the top of my head, but there's like these different tensions that makes up your being. And we can see that there's a kind of like, when those aren't in balance or when those haven't been reconciled, you're in a state of despair, basically.
Right.
And not always a conscious state of despair, but like basically your being doesn't have the balance. It's off. So there's some kind of tension that's leading to despair. Like if you're just a dreamer living in your fantasy world, not connected to the world of reality.
Exactly.
Or if you're just...
Wait, how does this connect? I've lost track.
Sorry. Basically,
give us a connection.
All that, yes. So the connecting point is that he basically says the only way a being can escape the sickness unto death, which he calls despair, the imbalance of your being, is to be connected to God. When you see your existence and being in relation to God and existing for Him, when you align your will with His will, all those pieces fall into place, and you can actually be like, you can exist as you're made to exist, and it's
because that's
everything
what
outside
that's the
despair.
reason. Exactly, that's the reason we exist. For the glory of God, right? So exactly, that's what I was saying. That was perfect. But that's actually the meaning of how I view life, right?
Yeah.
Like because I'm used to talking to people that aren't religious. So I usually when I'm discussing meaning, I'm not gonna tell them about my religious view, because if I tell them about that, they won't understand. So I tell them about the philosophical idea, right? To make it closer to their minds, to their challenged minds. No, just kidding. They're not challenged. They're just special. No, just kidding.
You mentioned you didn't mind being canceled.
No. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. What was the topic? I lost track. Do I continue the insults?
You were about to ask me about my thoughts on
self-love. What do you think of self-love as it is portrayed by current media?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think kind of similar to what we talked about the Disney kind of believing yourself. Like, our culture is very much, I think, full of a completely, almost a, and I'm not against being optimistic. My whole worldview is based on optimism, but it's an optimism that has no foundation. It's like
optimism with time too, but you miss not being punctual.
Huh?
Optimism with time, punctual because you aren't punctual.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, my punctuality is a whole other episode topic, but like I feel like our culture is both saying, truth is what you make of it. Reality is how you define it. There's no ultimate meaning. There's no ultimate truth. It's all subjective. And basically, if we do have just a material world, it's all meaningless. It's a nihilistic worldview. You can have an optimistic nihilism, but I'm not saying that every person or the cultural message is based on all of that. But I do think it's basically just saying, the way that we all sense there's a universal human tendency of I need to validate my existence. I need to have value in life. I want acceptance in my identity. And our culture basically says the way you get that, you look inside yourself. Everything you find there, you embrace and love and say it's good and it's right and I don't need to change because I should embrace everything who I am. And it has an appeal because it's it's positive, it's optimistic, and it's saying you don't have to change who you are.
Justifies your
it justifies everything. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I believe there's an inherent sacred value in every human life. So this is not like a kind of deprecating, like a self-deprecating. But it's really crazy when we just tell everybody, no matter what you feel, no matter all these urges you have, you shouldn't deny any of that. Mm-hmm. Happiness and truth in your identity is found in embracing everything you see there. So that leads to indulgence and excess of everything because you no longer have something to differentiate. Right. I should change this. That's not good. I have this feeling in me that's not good. That urge is not good. Right. I should learn to control that and grow and become different and better, move towards something.
Right.
And so it's just self-love. Embrace everything that's there.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing too, from what I've noticed, and I'm pretty sure it's just a common fact and it's true because I've noticed it. Mm-hmm. It's that most people who are very into self-love, right, are very miserable. Mm-hmm. They are just very miserable people that are selfish not because they want to be selfish. Mm-hmm. It's mostly because no one really wants them. So their only way of escape to find a place that accepts them is by them accepting themselves and justifying who they are, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's also the big thing where it's society doesn't matter as a whole. If all of society thinks that you're a bad person, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I think that's a big thing in today's culture. Yeah. It's and then we also have cancel culture, which doesn't add up because they're both sides agree, right? Yeah. Because it's you could be society doesn't say you wearing this thing, right? Mm-hmm. Then society is wrong and you're right. Yeah. Right? Which doesn't make sense. You aren't an individual. You live as part of a society. Right. You aren't a whole. You are part of a whole, right? Mm-hmm. And in terms of civilization and society. And once you become selfish because everyone isn't agreeing with you, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're selfish. So what you do is you just accept yourself and say, oh, I don't care. I'm just myself. And then you put yourself as the center of society. Now society all doesn't matter. You are society to yourself. But
then they end up still demanding that everyone partake of this. And that's what there's some Christian pastor who called it, he titled this the intolerance of tolerance. And it's the idea that when you have a world that's just based around the highest good is tolerance or embracing everything, that literally that collapses in on itself. Yeah. Because there amongst the various views are things that don't agree with that and that are completely at odds with that. And so those have to be cut off and shut out and not tolerated. You can't tolerate those. So it doesn't really make sense. You have to have some kind of external, something
Right.
external besides yourself, or even just the whims of changing society and culture
Exactly.
to determine truth and
Right.
goodness.
I think that's also something we talked about last week, not in the episode, but in the car, was about how therapy, current therapeutical practices, they're very individualistic. I mean, it makes sense. You're meeting with an individual, you're discussing individual, issues, right? And therapy calls for self-love a lot, right? Because it mentally, you're tricking yourself and you're gaslighting yourself into thinking you're good, right? So of course therapy would try to use whatever technique will help solve the issue as fast as possible without actually thinking of future consequences to it,
Right.
and actual realistic consequences to it. And like I said previously, it's that there's therapy that's very individualistic, but there's therapy for the whole society. Therapy that would solve all society's religion, right? That's God as like the therapist of all humans at the same time, right? And once you view religion as your therapy, right, and you take that as your therapy, now your view that that theoretical is not an individual thing anymore. It's now you understand that you're just part of a whole, right? And it's not just religion as in just Christians or just Muslims or anything, more as in Abrahamic religions, just Abrahamic religions. I don't care about the others. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm gonna get canceled, dude. No one's viewing
It's
this.
all right.
It's
We're
fine.
both gonna get canceled.
Yeah.
Eventually, anyway. So.
Yeah, it's fine though. But that's the thing. Cancel culture is intolerance, right? Intolerance of different views. I think also self-love makes people very sensitive too, which is funny because self-love makes it seem that you shouldn't worry about everything external, right? You should just love yourself, right? Whatever someone else says. But at the same time, you find them the most sensitive people to ever exist. The more they feed into that idea.
Yeah, because you're not. I mean, this goes back to something we talked about, I think, on the episode of love, of like, well, if somebody loves you, they want your good. That sometimes means telling them hard things, because like if somebody is in an unhealthy or like a bad something, they're living not in reality or doing something that's bad for them, you don't just love doesn't just mean affirming everything they do. You still love them as a person, and because of that, you want them to change their behavior. You want them to you want what's actually good for them. And if there is an actual good, if there is anything as actual good, then it's much more loving to speak into them and not just affirm everything. But that's very different from our culture. It's like basically says
a soft approach to everything.
Yeah, it basically says that everyone. It gives the word toxic, label toxic, to everyone who would basically like confront or challenge you to like change something about yourself.
Right.
And it's not, when we're talking about changing, it's not like, oh, you have to, what is actually the answer is to just like hate yourself and view yourself as worthless and just conform to what other people want. It's not about that. But it's like there is an actual good. You're created for an actual purpose and meaning in life. And that doesn't just mean you deciding what that is. There is God has created and designed the world in a specific way.
Right.
And I have a lot of like sympathy and compassion for the state that the culture is in, because I think people that's a universal thing. A universal thing that we all want to be loved. We want to be known and loved. We want to be
just our biology.
Yeah, it's like we are created to exist.
We're
with
created
other people
out of love.
Yeah. So it makes sense. But it's really, I think, a bad answer that, like you said, it actually makes people miserable. It just doesn't work. It sounds nice to say, everyone just look inside of you, and whatever you see, just embrace it. But it doesn't work, because when I've tried that before, and when I look at my side myself, one, I can't even determine, it's like this cauldron of changing emotions and ups and downs. There's not a constant thing. It's nothing to follow as a guide.
Yeah.
And
we can't take ourselves as guides.
Yeah.
If you go to a new country, right, you can never just go there and just make yourself a guide without. You have to find someone that knows better more than you, and he would be your guide, right? Whoever they may be, they would be your guide, right?
Yes.
And taking yourself, who is in this world, just came in this world, right? And taking yourself as a guide towards, whatever meaning you want in life is just a dumb thing to do, to be honest. But having a being that's internal, that has never died and will never die, he just tells you what to do, and he knows better, right? He knows the future. He knows what will happen to you, right? So just following that ideology and buying into that, you're just setting yourself up for a successful life. Fulfilling successful life, and you won't be alone and miserable by the age of 40 like some people that I know, and you'll just grow as a person. And because religion, I've seen that it's something that calls for growth the most, right? Current society says we should grow, but that growth is just based on changing the people around you. It's not actually changing yourself. It's changing who's around you until they all accept you. That's how it is.
Yeah.
So it's like you have friends that are like I've seen this where it's like, I just like to cut off people. Which is just such a dumb view. I think the issue is also the internet, where it's made it.
Yeah, it makes it easy to do that.
It makes it easy to do that
because it's anonymous. You can just cut.
Exactly.
You can just surround yourself with people who think like you do. You can create a kind of bubble
an echo chamber of your own thoughts and whatever you want to hear, right?
Yes.
To comfort yourself. But that's not, reality, because the thing is about, especially people are online, right? Because they have that beautiful view and that echo chamber that they live in. But once they come out to society and start living life, right? Now they realize that they're just living in this small, shallow place where they're only hearing what they like to hear. And that's why you see a lot of extremists online too. It's just because of that, right? Yeah. It's just because of the echo chambers that has formed, and then going out, seeing that the world it actually doesn't run like they think it does.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's like the view that God fully knows you and fully loves you and fully wants your good. Like, I think that is something that can resolve that, because people, like I said, if you are fully loved but not fully known, then you, say, that's like having a friend who it's like, they really like you, they support you, whatever, they think you're great, but they don't know you that well, and you would still not, that still wouldn't be completely fulfilling, because you think, well, if they actually knew me, if they actually saw my whole life, if they knew what goes on in my head, they wouldn't
still love me. Exactly.
Well, there's some people that have experienced being fully known but not fully loved, and that's basically that's rejection. That's somebody seeing you for who you are and rejecting you. But God
loves you even with however horrible you could be, right? God still loves you and loves humanity as a whole. And I think that's one of the most important things in general. I think we should wrap up. 38 minutes. Yeah. 2 minutes. Go ahead. Yeah. Your last thoughts. Your bank account and your social security. Tell us.
I think I'm gonna pass.
Really? Crazy. He doesn't want to dox himself.
This is exciting time. This is the one time where I have nothing left to say. Normally I have 7 minutes worth of something to say at this point.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm surprised he's not gonna.
I try to end while I still can.
We should do more of these conversation style.
This
podcast.
This was
mostly because we can't plan. For our life, I can't plan.
Well, and this is literally the conversation that we are having constantly outside of the podcast. When we're walking, when we're driving the car, or whatever, I feel like we constantly talking about.
We don't have any other conversations other than this.
Yeah, so it makes sense to just record it.
Just record it. Yeah, to be honest, we should just not talk to each other outside of the podcast, and then once the podcast starts, we talk to each other. I think that would work. I think we'd have way more to talk about that way. I think it would be great. We're also planning on having better audio quality, because
we're working on it.
Yeah, It was because it's Peter's fault. It's Christian's fault. The fault of Christians.
Yeah.
Okay, let's end the podcast. That's it for today.
See you guys.
You're not going to see them. See ya.
Yeah.